Deep inside the Caja Magica, under a retractable roof and a Madrid sky painted pink by dusk, a 20-year-old lefty from the Philippines just pulled off an upset that nobody in Eala Svitolina's team expected. Not her coaches, not the bettors, and definitely not the fans who saw the Ukrainian crush her way through the most dominant season seen from a player her age in 5 years. Eala, ranked number 44 and 35 spots behind her rival, stood at the net with an outstretched hand and fire in her eyes. Meanwhile, Svitolina stared at the scoreboard, hoping the numbers might magically shift into a better outcome for her. They would not. To see how this upset blew the bracket apart, we have to look back at January, in Auckland, where Svitolina started 2026 like someone who knew exactly how the year would go and kept the secret all to herself. She crushed Wang Xinyu in the final, 6-3, 7-6, to take her 19th title and prove this year would be unlike anything we had ever seen before. She moved faster. Her serve was surgical, hitting the lines so often it was clear something clicked during the break. She started the year 5-0. 5 matches, 5 wins, not a single set dropped. The entire tennis world was watching. Next came the hard court swing, and Svitolina did not just survive it, she thrived. At Indian Wells, she delivered a performance that reminded everyone why she once sat at number 3 in the world. After beating Emerson Jones and outlasting the physical Hailey Baptiste, she reached the quarterfinals to face Iga Swiatek, the current Wimbledon champion, a 4-time Grand Slam winner who had won 4 of their last 5 meetings, and she was waiting for her. It did not matter. Svitolina changed the game with a 6-2, 4-6, 6-4 win that left Swiatek looking completely stunned. The way the Ukrainian absorbed power and sent it back, her incredible patience during long rallies, her grit to stay in points that other players would have given up on long ago, it was all right there on display. She made the Indian Wells semifinals for the first time since 2019, and the whole conversation about her changed. No longer a veteran just hanging on. This was a legit contender, focused and hungry for more. By March, Svitolina had the most wins on the entire tour, 20 victories and only 3 losses. She hit world number 7, her best rank since returning as a mother, and that momentum just kept building. At Stuttgart, on the clay, she crushed Eala 6-1, 6-0 in under an hour, fought past Linda Noskova, but finally lost a tight 3-set battle against Karolina Muchova. Even losing, Svitolina proved she belonged at the top of the sport. Madrid was supposed to be the next big chapter in her story. The bracket looked good for her. A first-round bye, an easy early path, and form that made the clay feel like a friend instead of a foe. Everything suggested a deep run was coming. And then she met Eala. While Svitolina's story was about a comeback and steady greatness, Eala's path was something different, a total explosion onto the scene. The young Filipina started the year ranked around 50, coming off a 2025 season where she broke every tennis record in her country's history. She had trained at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca since she was 13, learning the grit and tactical discipline the academy is known for. Sometime during the off-season, those lessons combined with a new physical strength that turned her from a prospect into a dangerous threat. Auckland was the first sign. Eala came back from a set-down to beat Donna Vekic, then fought into the quarterfinals with a playing style that combined aggression and maturity way beyond her age. Playing doubles with Eva Jovic, she even beat Venus, Williams, and Svitolina in a tiebreak thriller, 7-6, 6-1, a result that hinted at what was to come. But the hard court season really made her famous. In Dubai, she crushed Jasmine Paolini, who was world number 8, 6-1, 7-6, earning her first top 10 win and shocking everyone in the locker room. At Indian Wells, she beat Diana Yastremska and then moved on to face Coco Gauff, the number 4 seed, leading 6-2, 2-0 when Gauff retired with an arm injury. Eala used that momentum to reach the round of 16, earned over $100,000 in prize money and more points, and by middle of March, she rose to a career-high rank of 29, the first player from the Philippines to ever get that high. She was not just a feel-good story about a teenager with a great backhand anymore. She was a serious problem for everyone on the tour. Facing her left-handed game is a nightmare. The heavy spin she puts on her forehand moves in a way most righties just are not used to, stretching opponents wide on the ad court and forcing them to make awkward adjustments. Her backhand, perfected over years of training, is both incredibly consistent and hard to read. She can blast it down the line or angle it cross-court with total confidence. Plus, she stays remarkably calm for someone so young. Look at her between points. She never rushes. She never looks nervous. She keeps her emotions in check, showing she has already processed the last point and moved on. It is the kind of on-court presence you would expect from a veteran 10 years older. But Madrid was a new kind of test. Clay usually is not her best surface. Her 2025 record on the red dirt was pretty average, just 2 wins and 4 losses. She had shown growth, but clay demands serious patience. It is about building points through long rallies, a nightmare for an aggressive baseliner still trying to control her raw power on the court. Facing a qualifier in the first round gave her a chance to find her rhythm. To get past Elise Mertens, she had to prove her hard-court swagger would actually work on this slower, grittier, clay surface. That is why the showdown with Svitolina was so intriguing. On paper, it looked like a total mismatch. Svitolina lives for the long rally. She is one of the greatest counterpunchers to ever play the women's game. She turns defense into offense instantly, absorbing your hardest hits and firing them back deeper and more awkward than before. Her movement on the court is almost supernatural. She glides along the baseline so smoothly that power shots feel like invitations instead of threats, especially on clay. Here, where the ball hangs and the surface rewards patience, Svitolina's defensive style is at its most lethal. She forces one more ball, then another, until her opponent finally breaks. But Eala, she did not break. The match in Madrid was a tactical chess battle, showing exactly how much the young Filipina has evolved this past year. Right from the start, Eala dictated the pace, stepping inside the line to attack short balls. She knew, or maybe her coaches knew, that playing safe was not an option. It is the same thing letting Svitolina find her deep, grinding rhythm is a recipe for disaster. Long rallies were a losing game, so she disrupted everything. She constantly changed the tempo, using drop shots and slices to drag Svitolina into the net, her least comfortable spot. She hammered Svitolina's backhand with heavy topspin, using her left-handed serve to create sharp angles that a righty just cannot match. It was a tactical masterclass. The first set was brutal, a total knife fight played out on the thinnest margins. Svitolina's returns were massive early on, neutralizing Eala's serve and forcing the long rallies she loves. For a while, it looked like the veteran's experience would just crush the young star's ambition. But Eala held firm. She held through 15-shot rallies. She held even when Svitolina started painting the corners with precision. She stayed in it because she had learned something coaching cannot teach. She finally learned to trust herself when the pressure was highest. The turning point hit mid-first set. Facing a break point that could have given Svitolina control, Eala dug deep. She ripped a forehand pass that clipped the line, leaving the Ukrainian star frozen in her tracks. It was not just the shot's quality. It was the guts it took to go for that winner at that exact moment. It sent a loud message. Eala was not there to be polite. She was there to win. The crowd was split, but a massive Filipino contingent made sure they were heard. This fan energy has become a staple of Eala's matches throughout 2026. At Indian Wells, the Filipino support was so loud that ESPN did a whole segment on it. In Madrid, the energy was even higher. Every time Eala scored, a roar erupted that sounded way bigger than the crowd producing it. It was the sound of a whole nation putting its hope in one 20-year-old and her Wilson racket. Credit to Svitolina, she fought with everything she had. Her movement in the second set was incredible, so fluid you would forget she is 31 with hundreds of thousands of miles on those legs. She kept the rallies alive even when Eala tried to end them, hunting down drop shots and refusing to give an inch. For a while, Svitolina looked like the same player who stunned Swiatek at Indian Wells, the champion who cruised through Auckland without losing a set. Her 2026 season was a masterclass, but Eala had an answer for everything. When Svitolina ripped a backhand down the line, Eala was already there, waiting to cut it off. When the Ukrainian went for power, Eala just absorbed the hit and snapped the ball back into the corners. On the big points, the 30-all rallies and the break opportunities, Eala stepped up and played big. These moments define wins and losses, and Eala played huge. Her first serve percentage under pressure was incredible. Her ability to find return angles that broke Svitolina's serve was the kind of precision you only see from veteran clay court specialists. Not from a 20-year-old whose record on clay was, until now, still a work in progress. Emotions boiled over in the third set. Svitolina saved 2 break points with rare aces, bringing out her secret weapons exactly when she needed them most. Eala fired back with a love hold, hitting 3 untouchable serves and a winner that left the crowd breathless. It stayed on serve until Game 7. Eala won a 22-shot rally with a lucky backhand off the net cord. Svitolina challenged the call. The ball was in, break secured. Serving for the match at 5-4, Eala faced her final moment of truth. Svitolina fought to deuce, then earned a break point after a forehand just nipped the baseline. The young Filipina stood there, bounced the ball twice, took a breath, and looked up. She fired a wide serve that Svitolina barely returned. Eala stepped in and crushed a winner into the open court. Deuce. She missed her first match point long, her only real nerves all day. But on the second, she refused to break, hunting down everything Svitolina threw at her for 14 shots until the Ukrainian finally netted a backhand. Game, set, match. Eala collapsed onto the clay, her hands covering her face in pure disbelief. It was the look of someone who understood the sheer weight of what she had just pulled off. This wasn't just another win over a top 10 star on clay. This was a statement of identity. It said, "I belong here, against anyone." For Svitolina, this loss carried the unique sting only a phenom can deliver. When you are 31 with 19 titles climbing back to world number 7 after starting a family, you expect to win these matches. But then a 20-year-old lefty with fire in her eyes beats you on the Madrid dirt. You feel every single year. It is not about a physical decline. Svitolina's fitness is elite. It's about a new generation that has mastered your game and neutralized it. Eala knew exactly what the veteran wanted to do, and she simply refused to let her play her game. Coaches will be breaking down the tape of this tactical masterclass for many months to come. Eala proved that Svitolina's defensive brilliance can be undermined without having to rely on raw power alone. Plenty have tried that and failed. Instead, she shattered the rhythm, never letting the Ukrainian find her comfortable tempo. The drop shots, the sudden pivots, and the fearless charges to the net behind those biting sliced approaches. By using those sharp angles only a southpaw can find, she turned Svitolina's greatest strengths into her biggest vulnerabilities during this match. If you force a counterpuncher to react instead of dictate, you strip away the control that makes them effective. The fallout is massive. For Svitolina, this Madrid exit will cost her crucial ranking points and momentum heading into the French Open. She landed in Spain as one of the hottest players on tour, but an early exit forces a total reset. The burning question now is whether she can recapture the relentless consistency that defined her early 2026, or if this defeat will linger. History says she will bounce back. She is too tough and too committed to her craft to let one result define her. The road back is steeper now, but for Eala, the path forward is brighter than it has ever been. A victory this dominant on this surface, against a champion of this caliber, changes the entire conversation. She is no longer just a hard-court specialist who struggles on the dirt. She is a player who can compete anywhere, against anyone, and win. The Filipino fan base, already loud, is about to reach a whole new level of passion. Sponsorship interest is already huge for a player from the Philippines, and it is only going to explode now. In the professional locker room, where reputations are built not on rankings but on results against the absolute best, Eala just earned massive respect. It wasn't about drama, it was about that essential moment when a rising star stops being a prospect and starts being a genuine threat. Svitolina walked away with her head high. She has nothing left to prove, and another chance is always around the corner. But Eala walked off the court with something far more precious. She left knowing the ceiling she once imagined was much lower than the one she just shattered. That realization is worth more than any trophy. The Madrid clay tells a story tonight of a veteran who gave it everything and a young star who simply gave more. Svitolina's run ended, but her season is far from over. Eala's journey is heating up, and no one knows where it will stop. That is the beauty of this game. Because on any given day, on any given court, the impossible becomes possible. A left-hander from Manila just proved the future of tennis has a Filipino accent.